Good morning. Before I actually give the title for today's talk, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I tolerate, as far as responses to my videos go, I tolerate a lot of things. People can say whatever they want to say. There are some things that I will not tolerate, and that is when people start calling names and attacking, personal attacks of other people that comment, calling them stupid and stuff like that. That will not be tolerated. And I want anybody that listens to know that up front. You can express your opinion, and everybody is entitled to his or her opinion, and I will not stop that. And I don't even, I have people call me weirdo and other names, and I don't censor that or try to stop that in any way. I allow that. But when people start doing it to other of my friends, as happened yesterday, I do need to draw the line, and I want everyone to know that keep your communication civil, which means no name calling. You don't call people stupid or ignorant because they have a different idea. Not specifically. Now, if you want to do it in a general way of saying that there's a lot of sheeple on this planet that are pretty ignorant and stupid, okay, but you're not directing it at an individual, so that nobody needs to take that on unless they choose to. So I'm just laying some groundwork so that you understand, because I am not in the business of censoring people. I don't like it when I get censored, and I don't like it, or I don't want to get into the place of censoring other people, but I will block people when they start getting crazy. And I want you to know that personal attacks are not going to be tolerated, especially to my friends. If you want to attack me, to some degree I will allow it, unless it continues on, and then I won't allow it. When I published my magazine back from 1996 to 2001, I allowed open dialogue, and I published totally contradictory pieces, contradictory to my own writing and my own ideas. And I allowed that for a long time, actually. One particular person got to where they were dominating the magazine, and I allowed it for a time until it started getting into personal attacks. And then I had to draw the line and say no more and cut that person off. It's not something that I like to do, but it's something that sometimes is necessary. It's called healthy boundaries. And again, it's not about censoring ideas, because I want ideas to be discussed. My videos are to be a catalyst for people to look at themselves. I deal with controversial subjects where people have very different opinions, and that's a good thing, and it's something that I hope continues. Anyway, today's title is 2012, Defeating Monsanto's Food Terrorism. By now, I think the majority of thinking people in the world are aware of one of the most insidious acts of terrorism in the world by one of the most heinous corporations on the planet. Monsanto is so arrogant that it genetically modifies food and patents it. It even sues organic farmers when the wind blows or bees cross-pollinate its crops into the fields of neighboring small farms. This was mentioned in the movie Thrive, and it is a major problem that must be dealt with in 2012, and it will be. Now, what triggered this, I had no idea when I came out of the meditation room this morning what I was going to talk about. And I came to the computer, as I always do from the meditation room, and checked my emails, and one of the emails, I'll read it. It's short. It says, on January 31st, family farmers will take part in the first phase of a court case filed to protect farmers from genetic trespass by Monsanto's GMO, genetically modified organism seed, which contaminates organic and non-GMO farmers' crops and opens them up to abusive lawsuits. In the past 2 decades, Monsanto's seed monopoly has grown so powerful that they control the genetics of nearly 90% of 5 major commodity crops, including corn, soybeans, cotton, canola, and sugar beets. In many cases, farmers are forced to stop growing certain organic and conventional crops to avoid genetic contamination and potential lawsuits. Between 1997 and 2010, Monsanto admits to filing 144 lawsuits against America's farmers, while settling another 700 out of court for undisclosed amounts. Due to these aggressive lawsuits, Monsanto has created an atmosphere of fear in rural America and driven dozens of farmers into bankruptcy. Farmers need your voice today. Please spread the word. And it's an activist thing, and I'll put if there's a link to it. Is there a link to this? Yes, there is. I'll put the link on there so that people can respond. I'll put the link at the end of this. In fact, well, I'll do it at the end of it after I finish talking. But anyway, this is a major concern, as is the fluoridation of our waters, fluoridation of our toothpaste, fluoridation of anything. I mean, this idea of corporations being able to get away with poisoning people on purpose, and then in the case of Monsanto, actually suing people for patent infringement when the DNA from some of their genetically modified plants, just the wind blows it, as I said, or bees or insects cross-pollinate it, and it gets into organic fields. Now, India as a nation has really risen up against this. Europe has banned a lot of the genetically modified foods. I don't know how much of it they allow. But people are waking up to this problem all over the world. And if there was ever, I mean, there's all sorts of evil multinational corporations that are operating on this planet, and they're bigger, and many of them are larger in monetary power and clout than many nations on the planet. And nations, of course, are corporations too in most cases. The point that I'm making is we are actually at war with these things. Now, I know I'm going to hear you say, Ron, you've talked about loving your enemy. Yes, loving your enemy means loving the people that are involved, the demons, if you will, the demonized people. But we don't have to love corporations and what they do. And when I say that we have the opportunity to defeat Monsanto's food terrorism, it's not just that. It's all of these multinational corporations that are committing crimes against humanity. And how do we wage war in the case of corporations and some of the things that corporations do? The biggest thing we do is we mount campaigns of awakening people to the problem. Because when people are educated as to what's going on, they are more apt to take action, to write to the people that are the powers that be. And let me tell you, it may not seem like it does anything, but these people know. Even if they're, what's the word? I forgot the word. Even if they are criminally insane, even if they are, I keep forgetting the word. I can't quite get that word. It starts with a P. It's a pathology of sickness. It's these, I can't think of the word. But anyway, these pathological liars that run these corporations and these extremely evil things that are being done, this needs to be stopped, and it will be stopped in 2012. This is the time of the awakening. I did watch another part of the video, the last half hour of the 2.5-hour video by that. Let me pull it up on the screen here so I can. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what I wanted. All right, here it is. It's Project Camelot, Bill Wood, Above and Beyond Project Looking Glass. And people kept saying I needed to watch that, I needed to watch that. So I finally watched the last half hour before I went to bed last night, even though I didn't go to bed till between 11 and 12 o'clock. And then I'm waking up at what did I wake up at? 1:44, 2:44. I woke up at both of those times and looked at the clock. And then I got out of bed actually at 3:44. And I'm starting the video at 4:44. Don't I like those 44s? But anyway, he talked about the timelines. And timeline number one, and this is from the U.S. military. Timeline number one for 2012. And they can't figure out anything beyond it. They're trying to figure out how to get away with it. But it's ascension. It's the awakening. So this is our year, folks. This is our year to awaken and reverse all of these evil trends of genetic modification of our food and patenting of these things. And if there was ever a corporation that needed to be brought down, I mean eliminated, I mean no more survival of the corporation named Monsanto and any other corporation that's engaged in the same type of activities, because this is evil. And this is all part of the Rockefeller cabal, and it needs to be exposed, and it needs to be brought to such an awareness that it can no longer exist. This is how light wages war. It's not by fighting people physically with violence. Violence only begets more violence. No, it's by turning on the lights and exposing the deeds of darkness. That's how you wage war in a spiritual way. That's spiritual warfare. You raise up truth to oppose lies. You do not wage war against people. And that's the thing. That's why I draw the lines of attacking people. When you attack individuals, that's crossing a boundary. That is not healthy. It's not safe. It's still burning, but boy, the flame isn't bristling like it normally does. It's soaking up a lot of wax. There's a high level of wax, melted wax in the well of the candle. And that's why you're not seeing much of a flame, but it's still burning. Anyway, where was I? I'm not going to talk much more today, but I want you to understand that truth, telling the truth and turning on the lights is the way that we defeat all of this conspiracy. And there is conspiracies. I mean, part of the eugenics and this thing of global population control that these Nazis that are in the United States that were operating in Germany in the Second World War and then moved and were exported to the United States from Germany or imported by the United States. I mean, we brought them over here in Project Bluebeam, was it? Or Project Paperclip? Paperclip, I think it was. We brought all of these scientists over here, these Mengele types that were doing all these dastardly things. And we imported them into the United States, and it's been operating as the black government or the shadow government in the United States for all this time, which is why the United States is a terrorist nation. And Israel and England has been financing it, and Israel has been doing a lot of the CIA type work, the so-called intelligence work. But really, what it is Israel is an international terrorist nation. Monsanto is an international terrorist corporation. These things need to be brought to the public's awareness. The Vatican and the Jesuit order, the Black Pope, I mean, these dark, evil entities that have contributed to our awakening, but now that they've awakened the population, they can't stop it anymore. It's beyond stopping it. Now that they've done that, they need to be, they serve their purpose. Their services are no longer needed. They've awakened us, okay? Now we need to collectively turn on the lights, let our voices be heard, let the truth be known. We will not tolerate this on this planet. We win. That's what Bill Wood was saying. They have this plan B where they're trying to make the destruction, but plan A, the first plan, is the awakening, because they'd like to get beyond that, because they know if people awaken, they can't have the control grid. They can't have the new world order, the totalitarian new world order. They can't have that. So anyway, this is where we are in 2012. As the lights are coming on, the truth is being magnified and amplified so that everybody's hearing it. They're getting it from all angles. And again, we need to go after the structures that have supported these things, but the individuals themselves, yes, yes, they need to be held accountable on the one hand, but remember, justice is always combined with mercy on the spiritual level. Justice and mercy are twin towers, if you will. Yes, there is justice, but there's always mercy, because the purpose from the divine perspective is true repentance, or turning from that which doesn't work, turning from the destruction to the creation. This is where we are in 2012, and it's a beautiful thing as I see it. And we can defeat all of these evils and ills in our world, and we can turn the world around and make the world thrive, as that movie with Mr. Gamble, Foster Gamble. That movie indicates that we can have a world that works, as the Zeitgeist movies talk about as well. So I'm going to leave you with this. I know I've rambled today. I don't feel nearly as inspired as I have the last 2 days. It's not like it's a channeled message or anything. I'm just sharing my viewpoints. And I'm hoping that you understand where I'm coming from, and that more and more people will take action. Thank you. Namaste. Shut up, Ron.